going to talk about social enterprise during the course of my talk, well, if I get round to it, I suppose. But are you aware of these phrases? Have you heard the phrase centre of excellence? You've heard that phrase, haven't you? Out of the box, joined up thinking. Leading edge, cutting edge. Bleeding edge, which is when I assume you get too close to that cutting edge. And then the marvellous one, thinking the unthinkable. Only a moron can say that. I've been to so many conferences where people are talking about innovation and creativity, and the only thing absent from the conference is either of those two things. I've had the misfortune to talk to every regional development body, agency in England, and for my sins, every time I go and talk to them, I read their annual report. You'll be really surprised to know that everywhere in Britain is unique. The environment is our greatest treasure. And we're all going to build Silicon Valley. And the one thing that I discover when I go to these talks is I meet the people who've written this stuff, and the one thing they've all got in common, not one of those buggers has ever been to Silicon Valley. Or else why would they build industrial wastelands and think that they're actually economic development zones? How many times have you been in a bar talking about the adventure you're going to have, the business you're going to start, the thing you're going to do, and you wake up the following morning with that little grain of self-hatred because you know you haven't got it in you to do it? Almost all of us are like that. So what you've got to do is to find tactics that can change you. Because if you're like me, lazy, you need to actually find tactics. I lead my life by a number of philosophies which you may find odd. The first is called Tinkerbell. I believe that if you can get at least 4 people to believe in something, the electricity that is created by finding 4 believers in something is out of all proportion to 4 people, and it will almost certainly happen. All through my life, every time I've persuaded 4 people that something's going to happen, it happens. The second thing I believe in is last man standing, which is if you have a certain amount of charm and people know that you won't go away, eventually they will pay you large sums of money to go away. It's a very vital tip. I do something else which you might find very odd. I accept every 3rd invitation I receive unless it clashes with a family commitment. Why do I do that? I do it for a very strange reason. You see, as I said earlier on, special things in life come from meeting the people you didn't know you were meant to meet. And one of the things that I feel about social enterprise, I think social enterprise is genuinely, I share what you say, I think it is genuinely, possibly, the most interesting development in business for 300 years. One of the great things we always do is we seem to think that the rules of corporate life were handed down to Moses, don't we? As if we can't reinvent them. But social enterprise is great, except when you get politicians tampering with it and giving you quotes about what it is or it isn't. Because what's really sexy about it is that it can be whatever you want it to be. And this overloading on the idea of it's all for public good, of course we want it to be for public good. But there's no shame in making money.
But it comes out of this, and would you go and work for a commercial company now? Would you, or would you prefer to stick in the social enterprise, or whatever you define it as, that field?
Well, I've never ever worked for anybody. I think I'm unemployable, to be honest.
Yeah, you probably are after some of the comments today. But
yeah. Well, I don't know about you, but you know, when I went to school, I realised I had a real problem that I guess it's a kind of, maybe it's a fear of being disliked. Is actually, a lot of us have it, you know, that fear of being disliked, so you're actually too nice. But I cannot do things when people tell me to. If someone says do something, my back freezes, my fists just freeze, I can't do it. I used to get in terrible trouble. But if someone said, would you do something, please, I can't say no. It's a real weird thing. Is that a common failing? Yeah, I thought, you see, we're all fellow travellers here. That's why we're doing this stuff, because we don't want to be owned. You know what is a really interesting thing to do? Is to ask a bunch of people who are the 3 living people they most admire that are, say, in the public eye rather than the next door neighbour. And I will bet you that over 90% of the people they most admire have got one thing in common. And that tells you a lot about us. They're not for sale.
It just needs time, we'll make a way to talk things over.